Coming up, we're celebrating 300 episodes of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition by looking back at some of our fondest memories from the past. How many years has it been?
5? For me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
I think.
Yeah, you were in after episode 20, so
2015.
Yeah.
It was when I started. So 2015, 6 years.
Yeah, we'll just say 5-ish, 6-ish years.
Yeah.
You know, we've taken some time off, and Ryno wasn't in from the start. So we're going to celebrate by talking about some of our fondest memories from the past 5-ish, 6-ish years of visiting Universal and talking about it on podcasts and video podcasts. So that's coming up on this week's episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. I'm your host, Craig Williams. I'm joined alongside by my co-host, Ryno.
Hello.
Hello. And as I said, this week, that was in the worst cold open of all the cold opens we've ever done. We're going to talk about the last little bit that we've been covering Universal Orlando. 300 episodes, a feat that we probably should have hit about a year and a half ago if we wouldn't miss so many weeks, if we didn't take random hiatus. Is that hiatuses? Hiati?
Hiatus.
Hiatus. Yeah, but the plural of
hiatuses.
Okay, we'll go with hiatuses.
Hiatuses.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure which one it is, but, you know, we should have hit 300 a long time. We should be rolling towards 400, 500, but we're just at 300 now. And, you know, this would have been the perfect time to bring the Rynos back out of the old woodwork with it. But let's be real. It's one of those things, you look at the numbers so much, you just start ignoring it, and what inevitably happens is you get to the point where you have to record good old 300, and at that point you're like, okay, well, we did not plan for a Ryno, and it has to be done. So that's when you get stuck between a rock and a hard place, and here we are stuck between a rock and a hard place. So we're just going to take a stroll down memory lane. We're going to commiserate. We're going to honor the past. We're going to look forward to the future. Probably not the future, but we'll do some of that stuff, and we're just going to have a fun little conversation. But before we get to that conversation, I want to remind you, this is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like the content, you want to support it, please consider booking your next vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. Remember, it costs you no extra money, and you get that world-class level of support from a Dreams Unlimited Travel agent. So head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today. Get your free, no obligation quote. So, 5-ish years. You've been doing this in the game since 2015, like you said. I started the show back in 2014, and Universal has changed quite a bit since that started.
Has it? Yeah, obviously it has. Yeah,
I would say it has. I personally believe that it has. There's been a lot of there's been a lot of interesting additions to the parks. There's been a lot of bad ones, but they have changed. I mean, there's been a freaking water park that's opened up in the time that we've been doing this.
Guess that's true.
Yeah. It's, I mean, we can't even go on the amount of attractions, all of the different attractions that have opened up over the years. It's been so much. So, Ryno, since you joined the show, you know, a whole year after it started and only 20 episodes, as I've mentioned multiple times, since you've been here doing this now for a long time, what's been like your highlight of the things that you've done at Universal? What's your biggest highlight? Like, wow, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I was a part of that.
I mean, I did really enjoy our trip to Universal Hollywood. That's not counting because that's not what we're talking about today. But
I mean, we will get to that in honorable mentions.
I think for me, it's every year when we started doing the Halloween Horror Nights, the RIP tours that they do for us for the opening events. Those are something that I genuinely look forward to every year, and I feel like it's always it's stressful because it is like you get a one shot to record these houses and then that's it. And I do not operate under that type of pressure, but I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like we always have a lot of surprises when we do those things, and it sets off what is my favorite season in the right way. And so, like, I don't know. I feel like we've gotten to see some cool stuff. Like, remember when Greg Nicotero came out at that one we were at, and that it wasn't just him. It was like Lauren Cohen came out too.
Yeah, and the kid.
Yeah.
Carl.
No, it wasn't Carl. Was Carl there? There was a kid, but it wasn't Carl. I thought it was a girl.
Maybe it was not then. I have seen Carl at the event once. Maybe that was the year before you started going that I got to see Carl.
Yeah, there were 3 people. Was Michonne there?
I don't believe it was Michonne.
I can't remember. There were 3. I'm pretty sure it was 2 women and a kid.
You know, the kid is sounding familiar. I just can't think of who the kid would actually be. It's been
that's
so long
what
since
I'm saying.
I've watched the show.
I don't watch the show anymore. So it's like I don't remember another kid that wasn't Carl. I thought it was a girl though, because I thought that was a big thing where they're like, "Look at here she goes in the house." And there was a girl they highlight. Yeah. Remember, there was a girl that was playing her in the house, and it was when she saw. Nope, that was Stranger Things. That was Stranger Things, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
I think it was the redhead from Stranger Things.
Yes,
I think it was.
Yes.
That.
But we didn't
she
see
wasn't
her,
at the
though.
event.
We didn't
though,
see her. No,
but they went through the house, and I think they played a video where they were like, "This is the girl."
Yep.
No, right?
Yes, you were absolutely in season 2, or no, season 3. Season 3, right?
The redhead girl starts in season 2. Yeah, because that's when Billy and Max start.
That's
right. But they had. That would have been the season
you're
3
right on the money.
Yeah, because the house was season 1 and 2. It was a combo house. None of the kids were there, though, right?
I don't believe any of the kids were there.
No, I don't think they were. That's why I'm like, it was I just remembered it wasn't the redhead. It was Mike. It wasn't Mike. Oh my God, Mike, Dustin. What are the other 2 kids' names? Max is the third. There's 2 more. Will, who gets sucked in, and then the one kid whose sister. It was the sister that was there, his younger sister. And she was there, and remember, the speech was she came out, and they were like, "What did you think of the house?" And she was like, "It was cool." And that was it. She said nothing else, and it showed a video of her meeting her character version in the house. And she was there, and she was there in person. And I cannot remember her name. I can't remember his name. I literally just looked at a photo of him the other day and read his name, and I was like, I can't believe so-and-so is this big now, because he's like a tall human being. And I was like, you were just a baby before.
I'm looking. I'm glad you remember this better than me. That one fell out of my head.
I just merged 2 years together in my head. 2 different experiences. Lucas Sinclair. That was his. Lucas Sinclair is their name, and then the sister's name was Erica. It was Erica because Erica's such a big part of season 3. I think she was there for season when they did the season 1 and 2 house, because Erica's also in season 2, but it could have been the season 3 house. Anyway, some cool opportunities that really stay with you, and you won't forget exactly what happened during them. They give us a lot of alcohol at these things, and that helps me because I'm terrified all the time, and I'm not blaming it on the alcohol, but it's a combination of alcohol, nerves, and how much food I shove into my body.
The problem, though, is the alcohol is usually given after they do like the interview and the pre-opening show ceremony and stuff. So I'm glad you even remember some of this, because I forgot about most of that. I remember Lauren.
The Walking Dead thing did happen, though, where Greg Nicotero came out and Lauren Graham was definitely there.
Lauren Cohen?
Right? Lauren Cohen, not Lauren Graham.
No, I remember that one.
Because I was like, oh my God, that's the girl from Supernatural. Because she'd been in a bunch of episodes of Supernatural, and she wasn't really she hadn't been on the show, or she would have had to have been on the show for a while.
Yeah. And Carl was there the year before, but you weren't there. And I think
I'm pretty sure Michonne was there the year that we were there too. Because I don't think Lauren was here by herself.
Yeah, I think so. Here's the hard part with all of this. I know your first time going to the media event was 2016.
Pretty sure we would have videoed this, right?
Well, we might have. So
I'm gonna check, but I don't know.
Yeah,
while we talk about it.
I'm not confident on that one, but definitely. So 2013. I was out of town when the media event happened, so I didn't get to go. And Sean and Corey went
instead.
That was American Werewolf, so John Landis was there. But But I made up for it because I got to see John Landis then in 2015 when they brought him back because they brought back the house.
Because I was not there for that media event. That was before. I didn't go to a media event. I went to a cast member preview.
Yeah, you already started working.
Yes.
But Corey he loved going to Halloween Horror Nights with that. So he still went with me to that one. 2014 would have been the year that I saw Carl. So 2016, I think it would have been then was your first one. And that would have been the one where you would have saw Lauren Cohen.
Yeah, because Chance was
yes.
the icon in 2016. I think that was my first media event. Because I remember the house in 2015 because that was an anniversary year too, right?
Yeah, that was
it was 25th.
But that was but that one.
But I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember like the soundstage or anything like that.
No, that one was right before you. I think you went to the influencer event too that someone invited. I did.
You to with Jack. Brian had one, and he was like, "You want to be the plus one?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And that was in 2015 or 2016.
That was 2015. Was that event? Because you got the photo with Jack.
Because that's how I got the picture with Jack. That's because I was like, I do remember being with Jack in that thing. So
and I'm bummed out because I've never gotten my photo with Jack.
Oh, it was a nightmare. I'm already nervous with characters, so let alone what is arguably their scariest character.
Yeah, maybe one. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Wait, so what did we say? Did we say it was 25 or 26 was the one I went to?
26 was your first one.
So 26 would have been the Walking Dead people. Okay.
Yeah. I feel confident saying that. So they don't. This conversation was just completely meaningless. I want to say
it's for the real fans.
It is. It's for.
Oh, it's here. It's here. Who is it?
What?
I wish I could say it was Michonne, but it's not.
It's not. I
just really want to meet her in real life. That's all. That's fine.
I mean, it would be cool. Her career has just completely blown up in the best way since The Walking Dead.
Okoye?
I mean, even still, like even when she was in The Walking Dead, she was still massive. She's still in Walking Dead, right? I completely got out of it.
Lauren's wrapped around somebody, and then it's some guy. Oh, it's the guy who did the voice in, who does the Hugo, who's the Red Skull now?
Yeah,
that guy.
I remember him on the show. I can't think of his name.
And it was the preacher.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize this guy was on the show. There's 5 people on stage right now. I only locked into Lauren Cohen while we were watching it.
You'll have to send me the link.
Okay,
so I can see it.
Okay, because
is it ours? Our video?
I can't remember the preacher's name, but the one who was like terrible. Yeah, this is ours. This is on the DIS. Yeah. So everyone else can watch it too.
I think you've already said that.
It's literally a 1.5-minute video. So
okay, but they come out and we probably put it up trying to get clicks to it. But yeah, I don't remember it. As you said, they feed us with a lot of alcohol. Actually, I shouldn't say that. They don't feed it to us. We just choose to take advantage of it.
They don't hold our hand while we eat it, even though we've asked.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, I like that comfort while I'm eating, but it's definitely not necessary. But Ryno, you are. If you watch the show, listen to the show at all.
Yeah. What? So this girl who walked up with Lauren is a character from the show that died so long ago on this show that's why I can't remember her. But I just remembered she was with the redheaded fireman guy. Anyway, guys, if you watch The Walking Dead, this is really a Walking Dead podcast.
Wait, you mean
how absurd I am? She might have been a lesbian.
Well, no, the girl who was dating, the redhead, she's the one who was on Star Trek Discovery now.
No.
Yes.
No, Michael Burnham? This is not Michael Burnham. No,
I know that, but you said the person in the show who was dating the redhead.
Oh, I didn't remember that they were dating.
Yeah, they did. She took it very hard when I
do remember what you're talking about. I thought it was just because they were like related or something, or not related, but like we're the tight knit family. Anyway, you're right. This is stupid.
Maybe they weren't. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, this was
guys. I'm never rewatching The Walking Dead either. I absolutely don't like it.
No. I'm over it. You know what? I did go back and I watched. Because that's a hard part. Like I watched the Glenn and Abraham episode, and it was just so
awful.
Disgusting.
It was awful.
Rewatching it. And the first time I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's brutal, it's gross. But yeah, I'm glad the show was going there. And now it's like only 4 years later, I watch it. I'm like, No, I can't watch it. It's
when he's just like,
it's just it's disgusting, but it's also it's heart-wrenching. Like the acting in it in that moment was really, really good.
It was too good.
Yeah,
it was too good. It was like Naomi Watts and 21 Grams. I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm getting old. I want to see happy stuff. And you know what? Halloween Horror Nights, that's been such a staple. As we know, we bore people to death talking about it on this show every single year. Yeah, we're at 15 minutes in, and all we've talked about is Walking Dead right at the start. But it's literally like... I hate saying it in this way. I love everything Universal has to offer, and I think that comes out through this show. But I've had conversations with Pete about this show where the reason why I want to continue doing it is because, like, it sometimes gets rough doing it, and just and this sounds like so weird saying like, oh, it gets hard to talk about Universal, but then I feel like every time it rolls around to Halloween Horror Nights, it's like an injection of energy. Like, yes, how can we not talk about Universal for another year? How can we not keep gushing about it and going on and on about it? And it's just...
Well, I think the other part about it, too, is that, like, it might seem like it's a lot, but it also comes from a perspective where, like, I wasn't... this, when we started working, I wasn't, like... I had gone to the event, like, years past in terms of being like, oh, I'm so scared I don't want to be here, and being like, oh, I went into one house and then that was it, and I left and stuff like that. Like, to going to being like, now I feel like I am a diehard person. Like, I love to go through these houses over and over again and this experience, and I'm like... I want people to know that that can happen to you too. As much as you say like, oh, I don't like being scared, I don't like being this. There's so much that the event has to offer. And what you said, it's just a different type of like environment, but it's not one note. It's like a symphony. And I was talking to our friend Courtney the other night too, where I was saying like, one of my favorite memories was actually there was last year because they had, or the last event, not last year, but had I loved it because it felt like it was that, I know the goal they were going for was like a sleepover.
Yeah.
Like, when you were a kid and you watched a movie like you weren't supposed to. But it was also infused still with that like late 80s, early 90s vibe. So there was a lot of like neon lights everywhere and a lot of the smoke. And so we just like, Courtney's also a photographer. So like one night I'm not a photographer, but one night went out and just took like fun. I like taking fun photos with cool lighting. And no place offers such cooler backdrops with cooler lighting than Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios.
And we actually coined a term over it. It's you have to try to capture your boosthetic.
Boosthetic, yes. Boosthetic.
Yes,
that was the ghost.
That was. Oh, the ghost popped in here. Yeah, you got to capture the boosthetic, that eerie atmosphere that it's like, oh, I'm liking this aesthetic for you, but there is some booze involved in this.
Yeah,
not the alcohol. Yeah. Well, I mean,
knowing me, it's not. I need it. I just prefer it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. That's like, I mean, we could literally spend this entire thing just talking about Universal's parties that they thrown, and we leave that out of our coverage so much because really it is one of those things like we are so grateful that we have the opportunity to do it, and we know that not everyone does have that opportunity, and it's insane what Universal like goes all out with their events. Like during the Fast and Furious premiere,
oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
I mean, besides the whole cast, well, the cast that gets along with each other. So, like, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wasn't there, but Vin was there, and Michelle Rodriguez, and was who else was there? Was Ludacris there? I don't remember now.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Ludacris was there.
I want to say there was like 4 or 5 people in the cast.
Was Tyrese there?
I don't remember.
Well, here's the thing about that event. It's not about being like, oh, I don't remember because they literally walked out and then walked out.
Yeah, well, and
Vin Diesel, you remember because they drove the car.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like, they came out. That wasn't even the cool part of that. There was this strange dance show that happened before anything happened, and then they do an actual car stunt with fireworks and stuff, and it's like that kind of thing is. It was
Luda, Tyrese. Vin Diesel is in this photo, and then the girl who was Brian's who's in the attraction. She's in the video.
Okay.
I can't remember from the OC.
Okay, so it wasn't even Michelle Rodriguez. She wasn't.
I don't
there.
see Michelle Rodriguez. I just see Scotty, that guy who's always at every one of these events.
I mean, well, I haven't seen Scotty at an event in quite a while, so okay. See, I'm misremembering stuff from it now too. Eventually, we're gonna piece together where the little redhead girl from Stranger Things
where she came into my brain.
Yeah, where did we find her? But you know what? I think some of the which one are you watching now?
I don't remember this at all.
You don't remember that?
There was the dance crew and everything that showed up here.
Yeah, they were dancing.
Is that Academy of Villains?
I think it was.
Because I think I made a joke about being like, I think they're on retainer here.
Yeah, and this was, I mean, that would have been back in 2018, so it's when they were still in favor with Universal. But yeah, that's like to the level that they go with some of these moments is it's so
car. It's so stupid, and they're like, Vin Diesel drove that car, and you're like, sure
he did. It's a Cowboy Switch classic. I forgot where I was going at with this. Oh, I was going to say, some of my favorite moments have been the more ridiculous moments that you and I have had with some of the new hotel openings.
Oh, yeah.
As we've gone through the years.
Oh, man. You just reminded me of a joke I was going to make to you on Saturday night that was a tie back to the hotel. I had left my house. Craig was at my house, and I went to go get pizza, and I came back, and I was going to walk up to you with the pizza, and I completely forgot.
Oh, it's that I would have laughed. It would have made everyone else in the room uncomfortable.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's it's been ridiculous because the first hotel we got to open together, I think, was Sapphire Falls.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and that one, that was special because of our Amatista.
Oh my
review.
God, yeah.
In which I am now, back at the time I was very angry about it, and now I can say I am professionally embarrassed about how upset I let a situation like that get in my head. Like, I got so mad over it.
I mean, we did sit there for an hour waiting for food that never showed up.
We did, but
no one else was in the restaurant. It was as if we didn't exist.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those things that now where we are in the world, I'm like,
I don't want to be nicer to people. Yeah. It's not like you were mean, but you were being very direct with the guy. But you weren't. There are worse people. There are people who yell at people. You did not raise your voice or anything like that, but you were very adamant about how terrible the situation was.
And I wanted them to know without yelling, but just saying I need you to. It's like when you're talking to a customer service person, you're like, I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to be aware of how awful this is. And maybe you'll do something about it. I don't need you to change that for me. It was awful. That we can't take that back now. Make sure it's not awful for the next person. But yeah, that was your first one. That one wasn't really memorable from my opinion. Really with the ridiculous.
Remember what Pete would always call it? Emerald Bay. We were
Emerald Bay.
We had to keep being like, it's Sapphire Falls.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, here we are at Emerald Bay.
Yeah.
Be like, where?
I forgot about that completely.
I will still second guess myself when I say Sapphire Falls, and I'm like, did I say the right color?
Yeah, Emerald Bay or Sapphire Falls?
Yeah.
Which one is it? Yeah, and then you missed Aventura because you were out of town.
Yeah, it was
a
preview. I was in the preview when they gave us food on the roof. But then you stayed. Yeah, I left the next day.
Yeah, you had to go out of town, and it was ridiculous. It was one of those ones where I think I ate at every restaurant and had a drink at, it's only 2 bars, but I wanted to make sure I covered everything, and I just felt gross after it. But it got ridiculous with our endless summer reviews, specifically Surfside, and then Dockside. I know it's more recent.
What was the one that you wrapped yourself up in the curtain? That had to be. Maybe that was Dockside. No, or Surfside.
No, you know what that was? That was when it was when we got. Was that when we got the rooms at Royal Pacific when we did the review of that? It was you, me, Oliver, Pete, and we had the Jurassic Park.
Yeah, we kept rotating who had the room or something like that because we had the kids' suite.
Yeah,
and we were like, okay, your turn. I forgot about that too.
I think that was it. I think that was
just took because Pete likes anytime there's like collectible dishware or things like that. But and this was the only place in Orlando I'd ever seen a volcano ball on the menu, or not a volcano ball, a scorpion bowl. They called it a scorpion bowl specifically, which is what you find them at every Chinese food restaurant in where I'm from in Massachusetts. So I was like, I think they're just named something else here, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this, and it came with the thing, and Pete was like, I want the bowl or whatever, and I think it just stayed in my trunk for 5 years.
Yeah,
I just took it out of my trunk. I have used it, though.
Oh, well, that's good.
I used it on my birthday. I drank a scorpion bowl on my quarantine birthday.
I saw it on your shelf, so I was like, okay, well, it's there. But yeah, I don't think I had ever seen it out and about at your house before.
It's an unexciting bowl. It's just literally, if you're thinking in your head, what does it look like? That's what it looks like.
I think it's very much exciting as a bowl. It does what it needs to do. It's a vessel for liquids and potentially also peanuts if you want to put peanuts in there, or any sort of party mix, charcuterie. Just throw your meats in the bowl. Meatball.
I'm trying to think, like, because Fast and Furious was like, big, and they had the party. I think that was the biggest thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, besides Halloween Horror Nights with it, it's been kind of weird because, in terms of when you started with it, you missed out on Diagon Alley.
Yeah, by that was still new, but yeah.
So you missed out on Diagon Alley, and then 2016 was when Skull Island Reign of Kong came out, but they canceled all the festivities with that because that was I think it was supposed to happen like days after the Pulse shooting happened. So they just they canceled everything.
Yes, yeah.
They did a grand opening moment like a month or two after. That was like early in the morning, and it just kind of happened, but there wasn't anything massive with it. Race Through New York, starring Jimmy Fallon, was a morning. That was like a morning event. It wasn't anything big. Fast and Furious was mixed in with the Voodoo Donuts together, so that was nice. We had Volcano Bay.
Was just you.
Ooh, I lost you again. The ghost is back in here. Just not let the ghost be in here. Yes, Hagrid's was just me, unfortunately, because of a mix-up right before. But yeah, I think that's kind of it.
I mean, the theme park was pretty cool. The
Volcano.
Event, a little very unique, we'll say.
It was
being an unfinished water park. Being told to go on the attractions was a journey.
Yeah, that was the tough part. The worst thing about that I remember from that day that I was ticked off about. So I started my morning in Pandora, the world of Avatar, because they opened on the exact same day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then I drove from Pandora over to Volcano Bay so I could spend I think I got to be in the park for an hour, and then thunderstorms rolled in and it started pouring. So, I mean, we got to do everything we needed. We got our video, classic video.
It was a 2-day thing because you and I were in the parks in bathing suits for a while.
Yes. Yeah, we were. I guess it was probably more than an hour. It was 2 hours, I think, I had in there, and which was enough time for us to do all of the slides.
And my favorite video ever that's ever been made ever on the DIS is you in the slide that flips over, and you're drowning in the.
I watched it it was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I watched it, and
you just don't give up on the float. You just hang on to the float, but you're so happy, and then it just flips over. And you're just oh my God.
I was so close to the end. And the reason I watched it is because I was watching our Velocicoaster ride video. And I was like, I wish Universal did more ride videos. And then I saw that one on the side. And I was like, oh no, this is why I'm happy Universal doesn't do more of these ride videos. Because that one was one of the most, I mean, I no shame about posting it, but it was one of the most embarrassing moments of my entire career was
did you post that video?
Yeah, that one would be on.
What's it called though? It doesn't have Volcano Bay in the title.
Of course, because we're terrible at that. It would be on DIS Unplugged, and
it would be on DIS Unplugged.
Yeah.
Okay, then I was on the DIS.
No, that would be on DIS Unplugged because
that's
you
right.
and I
You're
would
right.
have been on it
because that's before we switched it and stuff.
So I think it's on there, but yeah, and so. As you're finding it so you can laugh at me more. Yeah, we got to do the slides and we took care of all that and then there was supposed to be a nighttime event that was happening in the park. But because of the weather,
I remember that because I was looking forward to being in a water because the volcano looks so cool at night.
And the weather canceled it and they moved it inside one of the boardrooms at Royal Pacific.
Yeah, and they had the sand in there and everything, and we were like, it did not have the same vibe at all.
Well, and I really was hoping they'd let us in the park, but still went to Royal Pacific anyways, and then I missed like a drone show at Animal Kingdom back when it was still new, and I know, pity me, that we even have the opportunity to do all of that fun stuff, but that was, and then I missed out the next morning. You got the grand opportunity too, when in the morning, before the park opened, and you got to see the whole ceremony, and
that was cool.
It was a beautiful, beautiful scene. Oh gosh, me riding though on a yeah. It's once I go over, it's
funny.
I go over.
Remember. It's the part because you're doing this, whoa, beforehand, like the kid who's like on the edge of something where they're like, look at me touch this, and then you literally are like, hey, and then your face goes, and the fact that the camera just keeps going.
Well, and you're right.
It's this part where it's it's like the realization where it can, if ever there was a video to make into those oh no TikToks, this would have been it.
That would have been it. Yeah, and then you're right. I do continue to hold on to it. I did let go of one side as I turned over, but
it is true. You were almost at the end because it's this part where you're just laying flat for like what feels like a little bit too long, and then you're like, and I'm drowning. Yeah.
Man, that was
classic.
That was ridiculous. I am still shocked when they sent us the footage to that, because I was like, for sure they're going to see the footage after they pull it off the GoPro and be like, we don't want to put this out there.
Yeah,
like why in the world would you let us publish a video showing what can happen on your slide if you're riding it perfectly normal? Like, it wasn't like I was joking. I was literally just wee, and then all of a sudden it's, this thing's kind of going back and forth. This is getting a little shaky, and then all of a sudden I'm over. I mean, it's a choice, and I'm mortified by it, but I will always continually watch it. The same way I'll always watch the Velocicoaster video.
Gosh, the Velocicoaster,
ridiculous.
Yeah. Talking about just me screaming, oh God, oh God, oh God, over and over again.
Yeah. I mean, but it is literally the perfect dichotomy between you and I on roller coasters. It's just two worlds, completely different, but also in that same shared space at the same time. It's wild stuff. But, what other? Do we have any other ones that are sticking out to us? I know 15 minutes were devoted on which celebrities of The Walking Dead / Stranger Things showed up to media events that no one gets to go to, and then more of that. But
you know what I liked? I've seen some amazing concerts at Mardi Gras that do actually stand out in my head. Not because of the show, just as like one was as an annual pass holder before I worked it, which was Kelly Clarkson. And man, that park was full on that day. But we also saw Kelly Clarkson together on my first Mardi Gras when we were here. And then I will say I have seen Adam Lambert there perform there twice, and both times that was a phenomenal show. Like, I should have paid money for it. Is basically what it was. But I don't know. I think it's funny that the Adam Lambert concert really does stick out, because a lot of the performers there just come in and they do a thing and there's some lights or whatever, but he had like a whole setup to his thing.
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, my favorite show I ever saw there, I mean, besides my love of Beach Boys is more of a Brian Wilson vibe. I enjoyed when I saw him. Nothing against Crazy Mike Love and and the other version of the Beach Boys, non-Brian Wilson, but getting to see the Beach Boys with John Stamos was obviously
I was out of town for that
very, very cool. It was cool seeing that. But the best show I've ever seen at Universal, of all the different performers I've seen, all the different acts, and I used to go all the time, even as long as it wasn't country, and I'm not. That's basically the one genre that I like to stay away from. Other than that, I'll give it a shot. I think the best show I ever saw was Huey Lewis in the News, and it's so sad to me that was one of the last times he was in Orlando, and now Huey Lewis has lost his hearing, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he I think he's still trying to record music, because he doesn't necessarily need it, but it's basically he'll never be able to, pretty much, unless there is...
Was it that Sound of Metal thing?
I don't know if it's that exactly. I think his stemmed from like an illness that he had. I read about it at one point in time, but it's been a while. But
what a tough thing to go through for a musician, especially, for anybody, but especially when your livelihood is literally based in that.
And he was fantastic. I mean, it's the energy, the sound, he sounded just like he does on all the records back from the 80s. Like, it was an incredible show, and he only brought out the hits. And it makes me sad that if he's not able to ever tour again like that, if he's not able to do that was the last time that I got to see him. And it was also my first time getting to see him as well too. And that's I can't wait for Mardi Gras concerts to come back at Universal. That's even when it's acts I don't necessarily love it. There is something about the energy of live music.
Yeah.
Especially when it's that caliber. Because even I think what was it, Sean John, where I don't know a single one of his songs, but the energy that the crowd gives off.
We saw Jake, that thing. Yo, Jody and Rebecca. I can't. I don't
glad
know all the
you're
lyrics,
more
so
confident
I'm
than I am.
other song
I thought that was Sean John.
No, that's not Sean John. That's the guy. He had the song "On the Right Temperature."
I'm Ryno. I know you look at me and you think I'm Shazam,
he was
but I
really
am not.
popular when we were in high school. Like, that's when he came out, and then he is surprisingly continued to have hits for all these years. Sean Paul.
Oh, okay. Now
that's why you
said
Sean John. That's why I was like, I know it's not Sean John. It was Sean Paul. Right?
Who is Sean John? Is that the name of P. Diddy's brand?
No, I think Sean John is a performer too. I think he's a recording artist, I believe. I'm positive he has a song. I might be making this up.
Oh, you are right though, because Sean Paul is Jamaican. Because I remember the Jamaican flags.
Sean John is a sportswear company. Maybe that's why I know what it is. The Jamaican flags. Yeah, he had the Jamaican flags everywhere. That's why I was like, I remember there being flags, and I was like, okay. And I was like, his name can't also be Sean. That's why it took me so long to be like, the right temperature. Okay, well, I'm going to be listening to Sean Paul on the way home now, too.
Yeah, and
but what's the song I was thinking of?
Sean John is Puff Daddy, P. Diddy's. That's his brand. So that's where I got all confused with that, which normally happens. That's one of the, as much as we enjoy seeing the performers at Mardi Gras, the one thing I miss is when we used to do our Mardi Gras shows where we would just talk about who was announced to be the concert performers, because those were always just pure and utter nonsense of us listing off people that we have no idea who they are. And I mean, we obviously know some of them, but...
Get Busy. That's the song.
That's what sold it to me, Ryno. Did not know what you were talking about until you gave me the name of one song.
You know the song now, I'm saying, right? Get Busy?
I don't know it.
Oh, my God. Well, I can't play it for you. We'll get copyrighted.
Yeah, we're not. We've talked about that before. We're not going to do that.
Shake
we're not going to do that.
Thing.
We're not going to do that, but... Okay.
I will tell you, of Sean Paul, not as good in person as he was, as he is to listen to.
Oh, okay. I hope he's not listening.
That is good.
Just my.
He was fine. Just one of those. Like, when I heard Kelly Clarkson there, I was like, I can't believe Kelly Clarkson is this good in person. Sure. Like, I thought one of those things where you're like, the music, the recording devices do not capture how good her voice actually is.
Yes, that's the thing about music. Some people are just natural stage performers, and
some people
really
are great in the studio.
benefit from being in a studio environment where they can excel at their creativity. It's a different artist, different strokes for different folks. That's what I like to say on this show, and I will not ever stop saying it. But yeah, Mardi Gras, so much fun. What's okay? So we'll wrap up this conversation. Of all the shows that we've recorded, most of them you don't remember because, why would we? Has there been one show that stuck out in your mind as your favorite show we've done?
No, I don't know. There was one funny one when Oliver had a wig on.
I forgot about all our Halloween shows.
Taylor when we were at that. I always think of that one. Yeah, it was so absurd.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot
Heidi.
about that.
That's why he had the wig on, because he was Heidi, and then you and I were.
Yeah, you went as Al, and I went as Tim, and that was like the first time I had shaved for anything.
I don't think so, Craig. Yeah, I remember, and Pete was very like, oh. He wanted to.
Yeah, why don't you do this more often? Because I like a beard. It hides double chins sometimes, not all the time. It does sometimes. That was a fun one. The one that always sticks out to me was our ET Adventure episode back when we used to do our DIS Hall of Fames. We just completely lost it going out throughout all of ET, and it was you, me, and JL, I think.
Yeah,
and it just broke down into complete.
I do
nonsense.
remember that. Yeah. I remember because I do think about that one whenever I do the ride, because I think about how we kind of just are like, the second half of this ride is a journey.
Oh yeah, I don't often go back and rewatch stuff, but that was a good one. That one stuck out in my mind, and the first Ryno, the second Ryno, there's been some good ones. It's been mostly garbage.
Been good ones. We just record so much stuff that. Not just for Universal. You got to think, because we do all the other shows and everything like that, it starts to blend together after a while. But I will say this about the Universal edition has always been my favorite of the podcasts to record, because it, honest to God, feels the most, from me personally, feels the most like, this is more who I am, is very me here in this setting. And I feel like we're a little less uptight when we're in the show. And I think it's could have to do with it being less people, you know what I mean? Like when it's just me and I'm just reading from a prompter, it's very like me reading a script. And then when it's like 10 people in a room, I feel like it's harder to get your conversation started. And then when you have so many different personalities and somebody doesn't understand one person, you start to, it feels bad because you don't want to leave people out of that inside joke. So we'd rather alienate the audience completely and do it on the Universal show. So I feel like we've got a vibe going when we're on the Universal show that I enjoy. Like there have been times where I'll be like, we've literally been like, this is going to be a 10-minute show, and it's like it ends up being like an hour long, but it felt like it was fun to have the conversation, like I legitimately enjoy having fun.
No, there are times where we are like watching the clock saying like, okay, I need to buff this out a little bit more. It's got to have something extra, and those ones are usually the episodes that I watch back later. I'm like, I hate that. Why did we do that? And then there's the ones that just go on and on and on. It's like after you record it, you're like, oh God, that was so awful. And then inevitably something clicks like that, because it's almost like once we start talking so much, we lose track of where we are. Not in a nonsensical way, but it goes into that back and forth banter that it's like you said, when you're by yourself, you can't have that. When there's too many people in the room and tangents jump in, or just, differing personalities, it doesn't happen naturally. This show has always been only a couple people, and, it went from 2 people to 3 people to 4 people to 3 people to back to 2 people now. And we're going to be working on bringing in more voices as well, too. So that's coming up for us. But it's never gotten so out of hand that we're not able to just have these fun conversations and talk about a place we love.
I think that's a big part of it. I think that because it feels a little less structured in the best way, not anything about that. Like honestly, the episodes that I really tune out of are the most structured episodes that we have.
Yeah. I know. And that's when people are always like, why don't you shut up and let Ryno talk for a little bit?
But I don't have the information like you do. That's the thing. Like you know the park the way it is. I know the park in terms of being like in the same way that you do it too, or like it's the experience. Because for me, I'm an experienced person. Like I struggle sometimes in this line of work that we do here because a lot of times it is about what was your experience like. And you've said this before too, where it's difficult for us because we are our job is we work for a travel planning website. So there has to be some aspect of that kind of always present, which is fine that you want to have that thread to carry through. What's the purpose of what we're doing here is to help you plan a universal vacation. But when it's like an event and my back is killing me from carrying the camera for hours and we're wet and like doing that stuff, like I'm not having the actual experience.
No.
And so it's sometimes it's hard to walk that line a little bit here, and it's but I don't know why I started this sentence.
Well, and I followed you along. I'm not gonna add on to it. I'm just gonna say you are right that I feel like we find a good balance. This episode will not help you at all.
No, especially the Walking Dead part.
Yeah, and if you're like new to the show, you probably tuned in this and be like, "This, I got no information at all from this." I promise.
I like
we have
podcasts though, where like not every episode is about trying to get new people, and I understand that's what podcasts are. It's like about growth, but I think it's why I like SmartList so much. Yeah. Is it like it makes you feel like like I'm not intrusive by listening because feel like I'm one of their friends while I listen. Like, and I like that vibe. I feel like I hope that what people get from Universal and what they would get from meeting us is like, this is what it is. It's just like, we're just trying to isn't that what going to theme parks is about? Is trying to have some fun. I think that's the core value of it. And not to say that the other shows don't do that or anything like that. It's just that this is like Universal itself. It's got a different personality, as it should.
It absolutely does. And as you were saying that, the one that popped in my head was, and it's just going completely back to where we were before, but just made me laugh. Is we've met so many awesome people through this show, through them. Either watching this or the Disney stuff we do, but a lot of times. I think I actually meet more people when I'm at Universal than I do at Walt Disney World, and that always makes me so happy. And we've made a lot of good friends. We even ate with good friends the other night at Big Fire, and that lit this frenzy in me. Going back to that episode when we did the Big Fire. I don't think it was the announcement, but like when they finally released the menu.
Oh, yeah. I remember sitting back here with you and we were like, because it was the baked Alaska. I didn't understand. I thought it was an onion. You were like, do you not know what a baked Alaska is? And I was like, I thought it was an onion. I don't know.
There's a chance I didn't know what a baked Alaska was. And I was just saying, how do you not know what a baked Alaska is? I would do that too. But that, I feel like that was the episode of Big Fire, Big Happy.
Yeah.
It might have been the announcement or it might have been the menu one, but and then we had a time when we went and ate there, but then it was just being there again. The other night was like, Big Fire, Big Happy. It's impossible. I got a big steak. It was big.
I had cauliflower.
You had a rock.
And a lot of shishito peppers.
Yeah, plenty of shishitos. But yeah, Universal has it's been a good time. It's been a good time. 300. Ryno, we'll get the count at you at 280. So we'll do this again in 20 more episodes on your 300th
My
episode.
300? Good God. I don't even know what we'd have to do. That started the 101 series that we seem to always keep redoing.
Yeah. That's been one of our best things is that the way we abandon our different series. Yeah. I think we should be proud of it. That we never made it. I think we only did one 201. We got through all the 101s. Never made it. We did one 201.
I think we did one for one of the parks.
Yeah, I think we did too. And
or it would have been a land if it was a 201, I'm guessing, right?
Well, then we started doing like the breakdown everything in a land and like going really in depth into it. That was kind of like 201s, but required less work on our part to like go into detail. And
it's hard because honestly, it's like again, it's a podcast. So it's like, it feels like, yes, you kind of should be able to listen to any episode, but it's like, and I get it, there are new people and they want to know about it, but then it's like, how do we get to those fans of Universal? I like to live in the moment sort of a thing. So I am not a big like plan out. I like to keep my expectations lower on things I do so that I can like have that element of surprise. And not everybody vacations like that, obviously. But it's one of those where I'm just like, I like where we're at right now because well, not really. I wish that we had more space and time in our week to be able to be more engaged at Universal personally. But I know we're about to hit that mile mark in the next couple of weeks with all of the getting back into that with Halloween Horror Nights. But I like that we are. The thing that's so beautiful about Universal that is a little bit about Disney is that I feel like sometimes because of its size difference is that it pivots and changes. Like it gets to do that fun little when it leans into their annual pass holders, it leans into them in so much more of a fun, playful way. Being like, like I love that Universal still acknowledges that Velocicoaster was a churro cart. Yeah. Like that's a stupid Twitter joke that became like, now it'll be the legend. Like, and that they passed out churros on that. Like, I love that stuff about Universal. I love that. It feels like it has the sense of humor, right? That it's a little more like, cool, like whatever, and I like being in the moment of Universal.
I do too. And honestly, I could record 3 episodes a week. It's a lot of times too. I know we're terrible, and a lot of times I don't have like graphics to go along, but that's when we're planning out episodes and stuff. I'm trying to think of like what can be visually interesting for the people watching, for the audio people. I know it's if I only had to worry about audio, we could just do so much over and over and over. But thinking about the visuals with it too, it's like this episode. Yeah, we're throwing in cutaways and stuff to some of the things that we're talking about, so you can see. So you can see me riding on my stomach on a as I'm flipped over on it too. But yeah, it's sometimes it's difficult. But I hope that at the end of the day that the amount that we love Universal still shows through, even on an episode like this that's completely unhelpful to you in any way. These are the feelings that Universal can bring up in you as well, too. The camaraderie of visiting Universal with a fellow fan or family member, or the random people around you that you don't know, but you're all there having that shared experience. Just reach out.
Hey, remember those 2 people that when we walked in a big fire were like, Craig and Ryno?
Yeah.
Singing at the table. That was so funny.
I
love moments like that. Like, it's not about, it's like, oh, cool. Somebody's sitting here in this thing so it means they've listened to us ramble about this weird place, and they're in this weird place. And like, I don't know.
I always love that. And I ran into a real awesome guy in the Born gift shop. And, where they have been doing all the Halloween Horror Nights merchandise reveal and had like wonderful conversations. I always love those just chance meetings where it's just you get to, say hi to people and then also talk about something that you have in common and that you both love.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
I concur. Yeah. And if you want us to be able to have more space in our jobs to be able to devote more of our weekly time to Universal, I think the best thing you can do is book a trip with Dreams Unlimited Travel.
At Ryno, that's an excellent idea. You can get a free no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. But seriously, that's the support over the past year for Universal is why this show came back after Pete killed it off. And it's why we are able to do this and why we're able to try and help you plan the best trip possible to Universal. So if you are truly enjoying our content and you do want to see more, that is the best thing you can do is book that vacation through dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And that allows us to keep doing this. And I don't ever want to have to give it up because that really stunk for the couple months that we did. It was like a hole was missing that Disney just could not fill. It wasn't enough. So please consider that when booking your next vacation. And hey, also please make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube to UOFan so you get our Universal show, our Universal videos. I know we will get more. I promise they are coming, but please make sure you are subscribed. And if you have a friend who likes Universal, consider sharing the channel with them as well too. Maybe they'll enjoy us and they'll want to subscribe as well, and we can get the word out about that little ditty place called Universal Orlando. And also, if you're enjoying this specific video, hit the thumbs up on all the videos that you enjoy. And yeah, leave comments, questions, video suggestions all the time. We're going to do a question and answer episode coming up. I'm actually going to say it now. Yeah, go ahead and leave your questions in the comment section for this show so that we can answer them on an upcoming episode. That's a good way to move into the next round of 100 episodes, is with a question and answer. So leave your questions for us. And for everyone listening, please make sure you're subscribed to the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as if you're listening through Apple Podcasts, please make sure you're leaving a 5-star rating and review. If you're enjoying the show, it helps more people find it through Apple Podcasts. So that would mean a lot to us. And if you have a question you want to ask, head over to this video on YouTube. You'll be able to ask it in the comments. You can also always tweet at either myself at Teleclaster or Ryno at Ryno1185, Ryno 1185, and we will be able to input that in as well too. But yeah, we want to answer your questions as much as we can. So start leaving them out there. But thank you so much, everyone, for the support over the years. It's been a blast, and we're going to keep going with it. Ryno, thanks for the random conversation about The Walking Dead.
Hey, anytime you want to talk about a show that I half watched, I'm here for it.
I'm all here for it too. We will have to bring it up again in the future. Again, thank you so much to everyone for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you again real soon with another episode of the DIS Unplugged Universal Edition. But until then, remember, we still haven't changed the name.